Hello. It's been a while, I know. I haven't posted a video since, like April or May, my Doctor Strange review. Alright, so I really wanted to kick off this summer with a review of the first three Jurassic Park movies, but then I kinda got a little held down by regions, and also a trip to Disney I took, and so a lot happened. And so now I'm just going to talk about all six of the Jurassic Park or World movies. I links in the bottom for whichever one you want me to talk, or if you really just want to skip to my thoughts on Dominion, so you can either just do that. But for right now, let's kick off the summer, my summer movie reviews with Jurassic Park movies, starting off with Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, this is perfect science fiction movie by Steven Spielberg that combines all of his suspense and wonder of like Jaws and Close Encounters, and it's done perfectly. It's great. Alright, I know I did the whole Raiders thing again because, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, this movie, it's just perfect. It's a perfectly made science fiction thriller, and it's also kind of a family film at the same time. It's really well done, and yeah, nothing can really come close to just how great this movie is and how spectacular the plot is, the writing, and the characters. Because the thing is that I guess I should say, like, a lot of the characters get really cliche in most of the movies, but like John Hammond is such a, like, not a cliche character, because you'd think he would be this like mad, like this corrupt, greedy scientist, or like just because he's kind of an ass in the book, I believe. But no, in this he is like a guy with like good intentions and no bad intentions really. He's basically like Walt Disney, but he just doesn't really know well. And it's a really good character. And Sam Neill is a really good just protagonist to have as like a guy who has to protect these kids in the park. That's really good character as the guy who doesn't like kids. And then Ian Malcolm, who's like a good good character to provide to say stuff about how that this whole thing about bringing dinosaurs back to life is a terrible idea. And Newman is in it.
Not even on the feet yet.
Dennis, our lives are in your hands and you have butterfingers?
I'm totally unappreciated in my time. You can run this whole park from this room with minimal staff for up to 3 days. You think that kind of automation is easy? Or cheap? You know anybody who can network 8 connection machines and debug 2 million lines of code for what I bid for this job? Because if you can, I'd love to see him try.
Sorry about your financial problems, Dennis. I really am, but they are your problems.
Oh, you're right, John. You're absolutely right. You know, everything's my problem.
I will not get drawn into another financial debate with you, Dennis. I really will not.
There's been hardly any debate at all.
I don't blame people for their mistakes, but I do ask that they pay for them.
Thanks, Dad.
Dennis.
Every time I watch this movie, I want everyone to just say, someone to say Newman, or just Dennis. But I don't know what the timeline is where Seinfeld was like happening. But it's, as you can hear, I have a hard time talking about a really perfectly well-made movie. I guess I should say that the CGI, some parts, still holds up. It's that the only problem is just that they are too the CGI, it looks a little too smooth. Not many like textures to it, because that's why like I feel like the effects, I think they somewhat get better when it comes to the dinosaur and their textures and how they really looked. Because all the dinosaurs, when it comes to like CGI, they look very tannish for all of them. But of course, the animatronics are still way better and more real because, well, they're there. I mean, I just love that Triceratops, like, animatronic. It actually really, like, looks like a lot, like a real live-looking dinosaur. And it's done perfectly. So that's my whole thing. This is just a really good Spielberg film. I think it's one of his best ones. And, he really forced Crichton to make a second book that's based on this movie is like napalmed. So now we go on. So let's just talk about The Lost World. So I actually do find Lost World to be a decently fine movie. It's definitely stupid.
Kelly? Kelly, no! Hey, you!
The school cut you from the team?
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that moment. But I think overall, Spielberg should not have forced Michael Crichton to write another book, and because the whole Site B thing kind of makes no sense, because the whole point of Site B, that's where they breed the dinosaurs. Then what was the facility in the first one where the raptors were getting hatched? That's the thing. It's that because Spielberg, David Koepp, they should have just made a different story instead of forcing Michael Crichton to make a sequel to first Jurassic Park. And also, I believe Jeff Goldblum dies in the book, and now he comes back. And this comes to my big part where I think Goldblum was not a good idea. I think it's because he did become a big actor. I mean, he did do Independence Day after this, so of course he comes back, but he does look a little just bored, and I think overall, Alan Grant is like a better like protagonist for the series. And everyone says like Jurassic World doesn't really have a main face to go off of. I think it should have always been Alan Grant. And I know, yeah, like they would never want to go back to the island. And I think like they always make ways that makes them go back, the characters in these two movies. Like in this, it's because of Ian Malcolm's girlfriend goes off. So I guess that's what makes them go, just so he can get her off. To then be followed by Jeff Goldblum's daughter that I can't really explain the whole thing with his 5 children. I guess he got a lot of divorces, but anyway, I think besides all the nitpicks, it's a fun movie. I like Pete Postlethwaite. Besides, there was an entire awesome deleted scene that I believe was deleted from this film and only used for television.
You were saying?
You broke that man's jaw for no other reason than your own boredom. Tell the truth, Roland. Are you not even interested in this expedition's quarry?
RJ, go up to my ranch, take a look around the trophy room, and tell me what kind of quarry you think could possibly be of any interest to me.
And it is fun seeing the T-Rex go rampant in San Diego. The only problem is, it kind of is a little too short. And I guess maybe because it was the animatronics or the CGI, or maybe San Diego just isn't the coolest place, or really just T-Rexes aren't Godzilla tall to really cause that much really big destruction that could really level a city. But it's definitely cool, because I used to really love this movie just because of that whole ending, thinking this is instantly better. And I think the action was better. Like, I do like the whole trailer sequence with Julianne Moore. Despite Julianne Moore being the dumbest character in the movie, do the characters make dumb decisions? Yeah. But that's the thing. It's kind of a dumb summer movie. And I enjoy it. I don't hate it as much as a lot of people do. And I think it's definitely my second favorite of the sequels. But yeah, Lost World, Jurassic Park, decent movie. And it's a good thing Spielberg kind of stopped at this one, because in a way it does feel like he doesn't want to do it. So Jurassic Park 3, well, it does have its dumb moments.
Alan.
But it's still fun. It's still a very fun, just survival, rescue film. Even though it's obvious that there was like so much rewrites, because this movie I think was originally going to be somewhat like how the new Jurassic World movies did, where the dinosaurs get loose, and that's what they were going to do with like Alan Grant, but that didn't happen at the end. And then there was a whole point where it was just going to be like the rescue mission, where it was like these two planes, one with adults and one with kids on it, which throughout is a weird, odd kind of setup. So why not it just be a bunch of people that are like just stuck on the island all together? And because I think it's just weird that it's just this one kid that's stuck on the island. And the thing is, like, he's just already good at, like, doing it. Like, at surviving on the island to begin with for, like, weeks. But I guess the thing I really just do like, and I guess this goes into because this movie had some, like, rewrites by election writers, Jim Taylor and Alexander Payne, who also directed. Alexander Payne, despite his allegations, he directed one of my top 10 favorite movies, Sideways. And you can definitely see their writing as what they're trying to do with Alan Grant, as that he's this guy who cannot really just escape all the talk about Jurassic Park. That's what I love about this movie. He just can't, everywhere he goes, everyone wants to talk about Jurassic Park. People think he knows everything about Jurassic Park, and that's how he gets on an island that he's never been on. So I love it all. Like, I really do like what they're setting up for Alan Grant's character. It's just that the thing, I guess my problem is that there's some setup in this movie, but not much payoff. So like the biggest thing that they set up is this whole thing with the Spinosaurus. And there's this whole thing that they say that it wasn't a thing that InGen had. And I guess like there's the theories that maybe like Dr. Wu himself and another group of people went to the island, and that's why it exists. Because I guess I believe Spinosaurus don't really eat or come on land a lot, because it's more of an aquatic creature or lake creature. I don't know. I'm as you could tell so far with this video, I'm not really getting in depth with dinosaurs, but I still think the Spinosaurus is cool. It's just that they're setting up this thing that it could be it could be a hybrid, but it never ends. But again, but back to what I was saying, I love the Spinosaurus. I mean, I think it was a smart idea to just not do the T-Rex again, because, well, there are other dinosaurs besides the T-Rex, and so that's what I did like. I really do love the fight. I love the scene in the Pteranodon cage. And I do like the other scene with the Spinosaurus. And I like the Velociraptor stuff. I think this is where the Velociraptors are, like, really good. Because this is just, I feel like, what I like about this one, too, is, like, this is the last time I feel like the raptors are terrifying. In all three of the movies, they feel terrifying. And that's why I don't like, that's one of the few things I don't like about the new movies, is that the raptors aren't scary. That's even in Jurassic World. They do feel like a threat. I just don't like the idea of Blue as like you have a good guy Velociraptor. And oh yeah, like they have like the new hybrid dinosaurs, but if I was to like if they were ever to do another like a remake of Jurassic Park or something, I would at least like to see the Raptors be more antagonists again, because again that's what I like is that this movie the Raptors are the antagonists, and I feel like they all feel like the threats in every single one, even when they're getting their asses kicked by a little gymnastic girl. But anyway, I like Jurassic Park 3. It could have been good if they had a fully completed script with a third act, because this movie hardly has a third act. Unless you want to say that the whole thing with the eggs, them returning the eggs, is like a sort of a conclusion, which again is another thing, is that the Billy character is just also goes nowhere. They should have just left him dead. But again, leaving all that's Jurassic Park 3. Decent popcorn movie, but could have been improved on. So yeah, Jurassic World is the best out of all the sequels, because I think it has a really just a great setup. As the park is open, it's this people are coming in, but now there's this whole thing about dinosaurs getting set loose, and it's all because they create this hybrid because of the wow factor going down, which is stupid in itself, because the idea that there's one place on Earth where like dinosaurs exist, this one island, and the wow factor is starting to decline. I mean, I think they could have done at least a little more explaining of how the wow factor is going down, because we see plenty of people going to the park. It's not like, it's like there's less and less people showing. It still looks like a pretty well-functioning park. But, if they did more with it, I guess, yeah, again, it's very funny, just the idea of the anomalous Rex, as it's just being called Verizon Wireless, presents, with, the whole making fun of corporate ownership. And it's definitely has a very fun setup. It's really, the problem is mostly the Owen Grady character and the Claire. They weren't the best characters, I think, to add. Even though I kind of like Zach and Craig as the kid protagonists. Even though, yeah, they're a bit of a ripoff of Lex and Tim, but they are somewhat done better, because you actually feel like they're kind of overcoming, they're bonding. That is actually something I do like. That's one of the best parts. Again, this is the last few times, I feel like the Raptors are scary, but they become protagonists at the end. Even though, I guess it's it's a cool fight, I will admit, with the T-Rex, the Velociraptor, the Blue, and the Indominus Rex, but again, I like those bits when Blue kills, Vincent D'Onofrio. So yeah, that's kind of fun, but this is overall, this is just, I can't really say much more. I guess it is the characters, they aren't that, that's really the only issue, is the characters mostly. I like, Ifan Karan, who sadly passed away last year, but I like him as, John Hammond's new leader, the new owner of the park. And, again, I like the whole satire, and the action is good, even though there could have been more of the Pteranodon stuff, more other, dinosaurs going through the park, demolishing people. But, I guess, Man of Steel and all that, I guess you can't have city people getting killed that much in movies. So I guess that's why. But, yeah, that's it for Jurassic World. That's my thoughts. So now, on to Fallen Kingdom. So, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the weakest one. Yeah, it kind of is. I'm not the biggest fan. But I don't think it's terrible. And spoilers for Dominion, that's also not really terrible. Like, I'm trying to, like, just, like, what is it that I really don't like? I think maybe it is the ending. I just don't care for the second half. It goes on too long, and I wish they did more stuff on the island. Like, I just wish a better chunk of the movie was spent on the island. Because it just kind of felt like... It felt a little bit like Lost World, but also not really like Lost World. I do like where it was heading, but I wish, like, it just... I kind of just wish we really had just a proper Jurassic Park movie, where it just went with the idea of dinosaurs going through the island. And I know, yeah, the naturalists, the animal environmentalists, like, those characters, they're annoying, but, like, they didn't annoy me that much where I want to shoot my brains out. I just think, and then the whole clone thing, I didn't really, I mean, I think I didn't really care for that too, like, that didn't really, I mean, I guess it is a bit too much, but, like, I do find that kind of, it is just, I found it interesting, even when I saw it, like, the idea that, like, Cameron had this friend who also wanted to use the idea of cloning for something else. I find that idea is interesting, but to me, it's a flawed film, but it has its good moments. I do like that whole scene with the gyrosphere in the water. I think any scene that just takes place, like, where they're trapped underwater, like in Casino Royale. Just the idea of, like, drowning is, like, I find that it's always scary to me. That's probably, like, whenever that scene is in a movie, that's always the most tense scene for me. But that's it for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I don't really have much, and I guess it just adds to my thing that I just don't like seeing blue. I don't like blue, alright? I just, again, if they ever do Jurassic Park again, please, I just want antagonistic raptors. Because raptors are meant to be scary. I'm sorry, I can't get that through much. Raptors are terrifying creatures! So please, next time, just make them scary, alright? Alright, I do have a lot to say about this movie, and I probably will just say it all. So, was Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom bad or good? Maybe I might see it again, just not in the theater. But, I hated the whole Lucas thing. I just didn't care for the idea that Dotson, the guy from... And I know, yeah, he's meant to be he's a big character in the books from I heard. And even though he's been recast to now being played by Richard Parker from Amazing Spider-Man. But I didn't really care for that part. And I think they could have done something better to bring back, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Laura Dern back together. Because I do like those characters, and I hated that they never really shined them on them too much. And I thought, like, this would be perfect, that, like, they would also be maybe, like, Alan Grant hunting the dinosaurs. That's what I would have loved. It's just, if it was Owen Grady and like, Alan Grant, as they used both their skills to, like, hunt them, that actually would have been kind of neat. But I really just... I didn't like what they did with, like, Alan Grant, and just, because there's this, I guess there's a whole thing that I'm hearing that there's a lot more to the movie that was cut. And I just didn't like how Alan Grant felt more comical and silly. I just didn't like that direction, how he talked. I don't know, I wish they did some, at least, like, continuing, like how, like, maybe he does, like, want to, like, hunt down the dinosaurs, and, I don't know. I really wish, I was just disappointed on how Alan Grant was kind of represented, until they got to, like, the first act, I think, like, later, and I like that new character, the pilot. She was a fun character. I like when it's just about, Owen Grady and Claire looking for, the kid, which is weird, because these are characters I don't really care for that much. And whenever they're focusing on them, it's more interesting than Dr. Grant and Ali Sadler. I don't know, that felt, I kind of felt a little, that was a little disappointing. But on the bright side, the practical effects are very great in this film, because I think Colin Trevorrow was able to get more animatronics besides in Jurassic World, because this is the only practical effect that's in the movie, and it's really not that great. And definitely as the trilogy progresses, more and more practical effects are used, like Fallen Kingdom, like they used the T-Rex, and I just appreciate that I was looking at actual puppets, especially for the, crap, what's the name? Spoid? I'll just put it right here. Characters of the things in the Lost World that kills the guy from Fargo. But no, anyway, I think I enjoyed Dominion enough. I liked what happened with Dotson. That was a neat, to be honest, I thought that was a neat setup. I like that they brought the Dilophosaurus back. So, yeah. Well, I'm trying to think what else is there to talk about Jurassic World Dominion. Okay, so I actually now I'm going to talk about this thing that this is just the biggest thing, is that, so Jurassic World in a way kind of ignores Lost World in 3, but then in this film they're suddenly mentioning events. There was talk of Site B at one point when Dr. Wu's explaining to Maisie about her mother, and then Ellie Sadler still has like 2 kids from, as it was shown in the third film, and got divorced Mark from the third film, which I also forgot to touch on in Jurassic Park 3, because Laura Dern's in that movie mostly because was written into that film because Alexander Payne and Jim Taylor worked with Laura Dern on their very first directorial debut with Citizen Ruth. But yeah, anyway, that's mentioned. So I think that's a big issue. Is that I don't know what's in continuity and what's not, because Jeff Goldblum still acts like it's from the first movie, not like in Lost World. But yeah, that's the issue with Jurassic World Dominion. But I didn't hate it. This movie did not offend me at all. I wasn't really bored with it. I was definitely kept interested in what was going on. Maybe it was a little too long, but who knows. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the all 6 of the Jurassic Park trilogy. So here's the quick ranking. Number 6, Fallen Kingdom. Number 5, Dominion. Number 4, 3. Number 3 is Lost World. Number 2 is Jurassic World. And number 1, of course, is Jurassic Park. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much. There will be more of me talking about other summer blockbuster movies, mostly from 87. So look out for those videos, alright? See you next time, guys. Please subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye.